Hi, everyone. I'm Omar Haroun, the host of the Augmented Intelligence Podcast. I'm really excited to have Matt Geekie with me today. Matt is a pioneer in the legal industry and a very innovative general counsel. So today we're going to cover a little bit about Matt's own journey, how he got here. We're going to talk about his own philosophy around the role of the general counsel, how that's evolving, and really how technology has played a role historically where it's frankly fallen short, and what the promise of augmented intelligence holds for general counsels like Matt in the future. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. And Matt, would love to have you start by introducing yourself.
Good afternoon, Omar. Thanks for having me here. Very happy to have this conversation with you. In terms of a little bit about myself, I'd say early on in my career, I wanted to be an next sort of Perry Mason, a trial lawyer. And that was back when they had an abacus and so forth, thinking about how we're going to move along with technology. And but I always wondered and thought and striven for what can we do better in terms of delivering the legal services. My first in-house position, in fact, was with a company that didn't have computers in the legal department, which was, this sort of set the pace and tone in my mind about what it is that I want to do to help the business. And back then, taking a little bit of a divergence here, helped develop the first local area network for this company, for the legal department, which that seems kind of crazy. That was 1992 era, right around there, a little bit later than that maybe. But that developed then in me a passion for technology and the delivery of legal services to the business that I carried over into my current position, where I'm now general counsel at Graybar. By way of example, for instance, the typical things like electronic billing, so on and so forth. Well, I brought that in, that's fine. Some other tools like that. And then when blockchain developed, we in the legal department championed creating blockchain to mimic our credit revolver for our company. And we set that up with a local university. And to our surprise, while we were able to tilt that up, some of our bankers weren't really ready. So we put that on the shelf, but that didn't diminish the appetite. And that brings us to where we are today with Udia and what we've put together, which to me is tremendously exciting.
And one thing that I know makes you a little bit unique is you've been at the forefront of technology in law departments, and you've also operated as a general counsel. I think from what I've seen, at least, you're rating in the top 1% in terms of all the benchmarks. Can you talk a little bit about, first, your philosophy as a general counsel? What is the function of the legal department? How is that evolving? And then I have a couple questions about technology.
Absolutely. So my philosophy about what we do as legal business partners, that's it. We're business partners. We're there to help our enterprise succeed for the benefit of our fellow employees and our shareholders. So how can we provide those services that my preference is always optimize risk. We're not there to eliminate risk. We're not there to be no people, but we're there to get to a legal, ethical answer of yes to help the business get better. So what that then also means is, what can we do from a technological perspective to provide services fast and efficient and in a user-friendly way? And what that also then entails, at least in my mind, is going back to that metric you just pointed out. Given the size of our company, we run, nevertheless, a very lean legal department. Right now, we're about 15 people. 4 of us are lawyers. And in 2023, our reported revenue was about $11 billion. So I think kudos to the team there. They do a great job. But we leverage technology, and we want to do that, again, not only to make it more efficient and easier internally, but for all of our business partners to interact with us and for us to support them.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about, since you have been operating in a lean manner, acting as a business partner, I love what you said about optimizing risk. I think that's a concept that some lawyers, especially when you're in the law firm kind of mindset, might be a little bit of a foreign concept. Can you actually unpack that a little bit, the optimizing risk piece of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the traditional and I think antiquated view of lawyers, and particularly in-house counsel, is all they do is thwart sales, say no to everything. But that's just not what we should do. I think we should intelligently examine the opportunity in front of us and ensure that we are One, again, taking care of the business needs, helping us get to a yes in a particular transaction, whether it's acquisition of a company, purchasing something, selling something. How do we do it in the way that's best for the organization? And sure, there's going to be risk, but let's make sure that we understand what that risk is, that we accept whatever risk we want to accept, eyes wide open, and then that we get paid for that risk. On the top line and the gross margin and so forth. That's my, I'll say, maybe it's holistic, maybe it's not, but that's my and our legal department's approach to it.
I love it. And I want to return to that when we get into augmented intelligence and at least maybe some thoughts of what the future kind of entails there. But before getting to that, on the technology front, you have been, again, kind of either by necessity or just by culture, kind of at the forefront of thinking about innovation in the law department. What were some of your earlier experiences with AI?
Well, with earlier experiences with AI were underwhelming, to say the least. And it's because a lot of folks were coming out and saying, hey, we can do X, Y, and Z. And a number of folks on our team took a look at it, vetted, did what they could, and felt that, you know what, the promise was there, the delivery was well short. And it left a lot of folks, not only within the legal department, as well as our business colleagues, a little jaundiced, a little skeptical about future opportunities. Saying, the last couple of times didn't pan out, so why should we jump on board here? Whereas now, and particularly with UDI, I think that things have become, not things, they have. I'm going to be happy to talk about some of the things we've done together. I'm very happy about. We've proven things, and we are working together. We are augmenting the legal team and what services we provide and insights we can deliver for our business colleagues.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, maybe as a segue, would love to maybe hear what's been different about your experience with UDIA and really beyond even UDIA, what does augmented intelligence actually mean kind of in practice to you?
So in terms of what it is in practice to me is from I'll call it a productive application. And then I want to go on from there because I have other desires and hopes, aspirations for what we'll do together with augmented intelligence for legal department. But from a productive point of view, and I'll use our non-disclosure agreement or NDA agreement case study by way of example, it's to take a look at how long does it take one of our team members or outside counsel to get through a non-disclosure agreement, which today are far more involved than they were 10 years ago, 17 years ago. There are a lot of clauses that are a little more tricky. So take about 45, 55 minutes for someone to get through what you would think of as a simple non-disclosure agreement and then get it out to the business partner or get it out to the other side. Very cumbersome, very time-consuming. Now with UDIA, we can reduce that time to about 2 minutes, maybe even under that, and then get that out to the business partner or to the outside. So you think about that delta. Let's just even round it up to maybe it's an hour. If we can take out 50 minutes, 55 minutes, now I can take our team member and let her go do other things that are more value added for Graybar, for the enterprise.
And can you talk more about that? I think one thing that sometimes gets lost in these conversations is people sometimes just assume, oh, wow, if you can go from 50 minutes to 2 minutes, that's obviously good. I'd love to hear, like, why is that good? What are the benefits of this? And it might bleed into what you're talking about of the future of where you see things going.
Well, several ideas there. One is just speed and efficiency. So many contracts, so many non-disclosure agreements are coming in, given the size of our company on the one hand, as well as the size of our legal department. It's a natural choke point. So if we can relieve that choke point and get more business in, more contracts in, and then out the door, the legal department's more efficient, our personnel are more efficient, our business colleagues are more efficient. Then we're taking care of our customers, right? And then we're taking care of our suppliers too. Frankly, it grows the pie for everybody from my point of view. Looking to the future, and we could spend a couple of podcasts, I think, on this. Really love to do that. There is so much knowledge, not only in a non-disclosure agreement, but in a purchasing agreement where we buy from our suppliers, where we sell to our customers, and other data that we have. If we can, through augmented AI, harness that information, then we can take a look at what's there, gain insights, and we've already talked, and we're already doing some of this, which I think is fabulous. But if we're going to buy a product here and we want to sell it to a customer over there, do we need to do that because of what's in inventory? Are we buying the right product? Can we get better product? Can we get it more quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at all of that together through augmented AI will be a fantastic grand slam for the enterprise.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just one thing from my own reflections of some of this work, the NDA was less about the NDA and more about this blueprint of augmented intelligence. I think one of the things that was surprising on our end was just there are very nuanced, often subjective reasons for companies doing things a certain way, which an out-of-the-box AI model just can't appreciate. Can you talk a little bit about what that journey looked like from your perspective?
Well, I think you're hitting on a great point there, talking about why in some part others failed or fell short of their marketing. You can't take something off the shelf and plug it in and say that's going to be 100% successful, and not even 100%. That's asking for maybe too much. But it was, I'll just say, underwhelming. The path that we went along together, that journey involved our providing the institutional knowledge through policies, processes, procedures. We call it our contract playbook, et cetera, as well as a variety of contracts, and then talking with our team members and saying, well, here's how we handle it in this situation, which to your point is nuanced. And then there are going to be, of course, different circumstances will then cause a little bit of a different shade. Something off the shelf can't handle that. Mm-hmm. But as we built this tool together, and by saying tool, I don't mean to disparage it because it's so much more than that. It's fabulous. But by building this together over time as a tremendous investment, it's been far more productive and far closer to what it is we had hoped for in an augmented assistant, an augmented legal service. Mm-hmm. And that's the desire that we've wanted to achieve.
Excellent. Great. Well, I'd also love to hear when you started to talk about, and let's just say, I don't know, by 2030 to pick a number, kind of just brainstorming. Where do you see things going when you think about kind of to have a truly augmented legal function? What does that look like, and how is it different than how legal functions operate today?
There's a multifaceted answer to that question. I think it's important, sort of my raison d'etre, if you will, for the legal department that we are business colleagues, and so that means we're hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder with our business folks. To do that, then we need to be more efficient, more productive. The services we want to provide in 2030 as opposed to today are not simply I'm not to disparage it, but the productive components of Gen AI or augmented AI, but to really become partners where we can say we're going to be putting the productive stuff off there, handled by Gen AI or agentic AI, and we're now going to be participating in helping the business achieve its strategic objectives. And that, again, goes from where we're sourcing, where we're selling, how we're handling logistics, and we can do that and provide insights by leveraging, Gen AI. And so it's now a similar size, maybe slightly larger legal department, because of course we want our business to grow. Our legal department is going to have to grow, but hopefully not by as much in terms of percentage. And we can, as another facet, bend the cost curve of providing legal services, whether by using outside law firms or outside alternative legal service providers. We can bend that curve and become, more efficient for the enterprise.
Love it. Great. Well, I think maybe my last question would just be, since we've been on this journey together, and to your point, there is kind of this element of co-creation, because ultimately, as an external AI company, we could never attempt to know everything about your business, and so I think this kind of collaboration has been really great, and by building this brain together, I think we've started down a great path. What's been maybe as you reflect and think about advice you would give to other general counsels who are maybe at the beginning of their AI journey? What are some words of wisdom that you might share with them, or words of caution, wherever you want to take it?
Some words hopefully might be useful. Explore the team, not only your team and who has an appetite for it, but understand what their motivations and concerns might be, because I can sit here and talk about how much I like this, but if my team members aren't really on board, that'll be a challenge. Also explore and understand the team, like your folks, Omar, who have been absolutely, to me, fantastic in going down this journey, very helpful in collaborating and sensitive to what our concerns are. Those are two, of course, critical, I'll say foundational components that are necessary. And at the same time, the legal department and those within have to interact, like again, work shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand with our business colleagues, whether in IT, sales, whatever, to ensure that they're coming along on the journey as well, that they realize it may not be like flipping a switch today, but we can work together over a period of time to, again, develop something that really works well, works as expected, and delivers some results for the enterprise.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Matt. This has been great having you, and look forward to more conversations.
Thank you, Omar. Absolutely.